Check in audio. Check, check, check. Check one, check two. Check, check, check. Check one, check two.
Hello, test, test. Test, test, test. Testing 1, 2, 3. Test, test, test. Test, 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 test. Recycle. Test, test. You can hear it? He's not hearing it. You guys cool? Okay. Yeah.
lead us in our flag ceremony. So Sarah Serban, will you go ahead and start our flag?
Hello, hello.
Nice job.
You can follow along if you want. I'd like for all of you to put your hands on your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Nice job. Thank you. That's command of that microphone. Good job. All right. I'm going to just move around the agenda just a little bit. So we have 3 recognitions this evening. We're going to start with Golden Hill, then we're going to move on to Parks, and then we're going to end it with the Wonder of Water, because in that way we'll give you guys some time to gather your stuff and remember to take a cupcake on your way out, but just we'll do that at the end. So that way we give you guys a little bit of time. So we're going to start now with our Golden Hills Arts Vision highlights. So Julian. Oh my gosh, you're way out there today.
President Berryman, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Plepka, and year for teachers and staff. We have begun our arts integration journey in the visual arts and will continue with each of the artistic disciplines over the coming years. With a unique program of designated instructional time in music and theater, we are also building banks of lessons for classroom teachers to become experts in each discipline. Ultimately, our goal is to create a school that educates the whole child and is a model locally, regionally, and nationally that sets the standard. Follow. But you don't for it. I hear this guy in this next video is, and if you would listen to him just for a few moments.
Welcome to Golden Hill. Here, we've recognized that the 20.
Google Drive, maybe download it to the hard drive. Dr. Anderson, do you have any jokes you could tell?
Oh. Where do you want me to begin? Love it. Love it. Love the school. Love the community. It's truly a special place that, as we kind of recreate and reimagine where Golden Hill is going, with the backing of the district and community, the community. It's been an incredible journey to not be afraid to think outside the box, and being given permission to think outside the box and to look at a school and say, how can we do this different? That it's not just kids necessarily sitting in desks all the time, right? Or sitting around tables or sitting in groups, but we make it real world, and we bring real world experiences to kids, and we take kids to real world experiences. Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Golden Hill. Here, we've recognized that the 21st century values creativity, the art of negotiation, the art of problem solving, the art of strategic planning. All these skills require abstract and creative thinking that are only encouraged through the study and practice of artistic disciplines. Golden Hill intends to create an environment for creative young scholars to unpack their passions, their talents, and their dreams, and build them into concrete pathways to future development in all academic areas, with art as the key pillar and vehicle for students to achieve their greatest goals, hopes, and dreams. This is Golden Hill Elementary School's vision as a school for the creative and performing arts. Allow me to show you what we have planned. In the fall, we will unveil a new name as the Golden Hill School for the Creative and Performing Arts, where students can create and pick a pathway within 3 different schools: a school of creative arts, media arts, and technical arts, whether it is lighting design or costume design, band, choir, creative writing. They'll be able to follow their dreams and follow their pathways. The integration of the arts into the academic rigor of our students is key and proven by research. We will be using the arts in the right brain to access the left brain and have students think deeper, thus increasing their academic rigor and educating the whole child. But you don't have to take my word for it. Matt Mankiewicz is one of our top teachers here at Golden Hill, teaches 6th grade GATE. Matt, what are your thoughts?
Traditionally, most GATE programs have only identified kids who are gifted, but at Golden Hill, we're also identifying kids as artistically talented. GATE education is about depth and complexity, and the arts are a great entry point for all kids to access their own critical thinking skills. Whether it be analyzing how music affects the mood of a story, making inferences based on a piece of art, or looking at a script from the perspectives of multiple characters, all kids have an artistic, creative background they can use to interact with material in their own way and at their own level.
Even as an art school, academics are still at the forefront of our mission here at Golden Hill, and there's always room at our school for drama. What are your thoughts, Erin?
So the theater program here at Golden Hill is really unique. We have a gradual release program where instead of standalone theater lessons, we're really thinking about a big picture of curriculum building. And it focuses on how we can integrate theater into all aspects of learning. Every class here at Golden Hill gets a 30-minute theater lesson here in our dedicated theater space.
Now that is music to my ears, Erin. And speaking of music, we offer music for every single child here at Golden Hill. Music is more than playing notes and rhythms. It's math, it's science, it's geography. It is all the subjects rolled into one. It again taps into the right brain so we can access the left brain. Do you see a pattern? I do. So there you have it. Golden Hill, this special place where we're proud of our community partnerships and our partnerships with all the arts. Golden Hill is a place where we will set kids on a self-propelled pursuit of excellence, where we will provide world-class instruction in scholastic and artistic pursuits so that they can become productive members of a 21st century global economy. Golden Hill, where we're not afraid to dream big and where every child is a masterpiece.
Come on.
Oh my, yeah. What a wonderful video and a great display of what your vision for the school is and the staff there. Thank you for all that time and effort and going into that. I know that Golden Hill has had that focus, but this is just fine tuning that and really going forward with it. So thank you. Right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Anybody have questions for him at all? Anything? Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So we're going to then move to our recognition of Parks Junior High School as a school to watch. Who do we have coming up to? Is Laura going to come up and make that presentation?
I was going to share.
You can't get away with not saying anything initially. So go ahead.
So just to say, first of all, we're really proud. The Schools to Watch program is a nationally recognized program, something similar to like the Blue Ribbon schools. There are only approximately about 50 schools in California that have been recognized for the Schools to Watch, and there are only a few hundred in all of the country. And so Parks is being recognized for this, and we're really excited. They were recognized at the state level, and they have gone on and will be recognized here in Washington, D.C. in just a couple short months. Mrs. Makeley, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, Dr. Pleka. I am so proud of the work that we've done at Parks. These are just a few of our fantastic teachers, our assistant principal, Ms. Doe. We've all really come together over the last several years to fine-tune what we do at Parks, to focus. We're really proud about our broad electives program, our social emotional learning, and our mental health supports for students. So we have the academics, we have the extracurriculars, and we feel like we have the whole package. And our work has shown in the students, we see them excelling and we see them happy, healthy, and secure. And that's what we do in education. So proud of the work that we've done. Thank you for your support, Dr. Pletka, and to President Berryman and the whole board. We couldn't do it without your support. So thank you.
We appreciate all that you've done and congratulations. And this is not an easy process going through this. Can you talk about a little bit about what it entails to get a distinction like this?
So the process, we started actually last spring. So about a year ago, we came together as a staff to conduct a self-study. And the National Model Middle Schools organization has a rubric. And we went through all the components of the rubric. We gathered in departments. We also gathered in our high reliability schools, professional learning communities, to go through every element of the rubric, talk about how we address that at Parks. And if we didn't address it at the level 4, which was the highest, what could we do to ensure that we were operating at a level 4 within the year? It was really, really a great practice for all of us to go through. We sent that application on to the state. I had some help. These ladies right here helped me write the application. It was about 26 pages long and had to support with evidence. We had a visit from a team last December of the school year. And then we were notified in January by State Superintendent Tony Thurman that we received the recognition. So it was pretty exciting.
Now we get to have our presentation with all of our students here who have come to share all this beautiful artwork. Dr. Pleka, tell us about the program and what.
So we're really excited. Wonder of Waters is a competition and event we have each year where we recognize students and their beautiful artwork. They can use a variety of mediums, from photography to oils, and you'll see all kinds of just, again, great examples of student work. Mike McAdams and I and a few others started a nonprofit, Kids Fish On, and so we take kids fishing, and we take we've done partnered up with Fullerton Cares. We took autistic students also fishing. We take some of our own here in the school every year. In addition to that, we do this art event, And we do have some help, but we donate the money for the prizes. So we're really excited about the winners. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Julian.
Good evening, President Berryman, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Bob Pleka, fellow cabinet, and guests. I would like to call them Janice, Lee, and Terry Orr, who are going to assist passing out the prizes, as well as Ingrid doing the honors to reading out the names.
Ingrid, one last thing. The parents, there are checks in there. So when you get the check, you can hold on to it. Don't catch it yet.
Well, first, before I begin, I just want to thank our Board of Trustees, our Executive Cabinet, and Dr. Pletka for your support of the arts, because none of this would be possible without that support. And so thank you very much. Today, we're here to honor some amazing young artists. And we are going to start by calling out the honorable mentions. And what I'd like you to do, students, what you're going to do is you're going to walk over and get your certificate and your gift, and then you're going to stand in front of your piece of art, and you're going to stay there until we're all up at the front, and we'll get a picture together. All right, let's start with our Nature of Water. Honorable mention goes to Kayla Ma from Parks Junior High. Our next honorable mention is Audrey Yun from Fissler. And in our TK through 6 Nature of Water, Alina Kim from Laguna Road. And Ashley Lee from Fissler. For the love of water, Samantha Kang from Fissler. And Hyuna Kim from Fissler. Also, honorable mention for love of water, Caitlin Lee from Beechwood. And Kate Lee from Beechwood. Our second place winner in the Nature of Water for 7th and 8th grade is Jane Kwok from Parks Junior High. And second place for Emily M. at Fissler. For the love of water, second place winner is Mandy Greco from Ladera Vista School of the Arts. And Claire Im from Fissler. Our first place winner in Nature of Water from Fissler, Jade August Doris. And our first place winner from Acacia, Yu Sung Jung. For the love of water from Parks Junior High, Stephen Feltenberg. And from Beechwood, Hannah Kong. Our grand prize winner goes to our young lady who led the Pledge of Allegiance this evening from Woodcrest, the very talented Sarah Servan. Congratulations. We're going to take a moment for all of you to get your picture taken. It would be, do you want them to hold up their artwork too? I think that would be amazing. So if you can, you're standing in front of your artwork, if you can carefully hold it and put it down in front of you, that would make a great picture.
guys are some talented artists.
And again, congratulations to all our winners. Don't forget to grab a cupcake from Miss Orr.
Did a phenomenal job. Parents, thank you for bringing them out tonight. Thank you for encouraging them to be artists. They could not have done this work without you as parents or guardians to support them. So thank you all. They can take it home with them tonight, correct, you guys? Yes, so take it with you. We're going to go ahead and make sure you take a cupcake, and we're going to give them a couple of moments to be able to gather their things, and you guys can leave if you'd like, stay if you'd like, but it might be easier with these paintings to make your way out. So we'll take a little 5-minute break. 5 minutes. Recess. Right, got it. 5 minutes. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you for indulging us. It's great to see students and their artwork, and it reminds us all why we're here. So there's something for everybody in the Fullerton School District. So we're going to move on to our superintendent's report. Dr. Bob, do you have something to say tonight?
All I'm going to say is last night we had a great event for our Teachers of the Year. Very excited and proud of the teachers that were being honored. And one that I see here with us, how about a big round of applause for Pamela? So just to say we're well represented, we're very lucky and blessed to have teachers like Pamela. And it was also a fun event. It was at the Disneyland Hotel, and just a really elegant piece. And I get very lucky to have people like Pamela.
Okay, we'll move on to information from our associations. Do we have any from DLAC here today? Oh, I'm so sorry, you guys. Board of Trustees. I should put my glasses on. Okay, we're going to start with Trustee Meyer down there.
All right, I will echo what Dr. Bob said. There were 2 years that we celebrated last night together, and there were quite a few people from Fullerton School District supporting us. We had 2 tables. 6 of us from the district went, and then Mark was there, and Pamela's and principals. So it was really nice. And congratulations, Pamela. You can't get enough congratulations. You're that wonderful. Also, today we went to the PTA year-end event, and a very, very special surprise happened there, and that's because they gave Carmen Cerna a special award. So, and she was there, so it was really fun to see her, and quite an honor, well-deserved by her. Golden Hill, they left. I'm going to visit Golden Hill tomorrow, and how lucky I get to go back after he did that great presentation. So now I know what to really look for. So thank you.
I'm sad that I missed that event yesterday and then today. But I attended the Nicholas Open House last week, and then I also attended Orangethorpe's Project Curiosity Orca Fest for Earth Day this past Friday as well too, which was really amazing to see the innovative ways that the kids are thinking and working together to solve real life problems, but at such a young age. And then seeing the little kids chant, what was it? Save the trees, the kids want to breathe. Super neat. All the way from the bees to what was it? The blueberry jam or blackberry jam, that recipes that they had. So just some amazing things that were happening out there. Definitely, again, at Nicholas, the amazing things that are happening there with a lot of their electives and a lot of the great teachers that are there, highlighting them, really getting to see the community out and about, which is one of the things that brings me a lot of joy. Just looking forward to, again, finishing the year off strong and getting ready for next year to continue the momentum that we've been building throughout these last few months, and then just hoping for a great summer as well too. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Ernie?
I'm looking forward to the agenda that we have before us tonight. We're going to be talking about student achievement coming out of COVID, and the numbers looked not bad. I'm looking forward to a more in-depth analysis tonight. Moving forward on dual language and Korean, which is just so exciting. I mean, we had the Cultural Affairs Minister here a few meetings ago, if you recall. I still haven't gotten to use those shot glasses or tea glasses. Tea cups that we were gifted, which was very nice. I can barely draw a stick figure, so seeing this artwork by students that are 37 years younger than me, it's so incredible. Last Friday, I had the opportunity to go with Principal Lynch around the Ladera Vista campus, and what we often see here is the very best, and our mottos, great schools and successful kids. But I just want to remind everybody here that as a public school, we service students with, from the highest and greatest abilities to severe and moderate disabilities. And my next goal is to visit Nicholas, which is where our medically fragile students are taught and cared for. But seeing the compassion and the love and the patience for students who, the instruction may or may not be getting through to them at that moment, but just holding a caregiver's hand. Some of them are staff, some of them are from our agency partners, but it's always incredibly moving when I see just the entire spectrum. Any child with any ability can be taught here in Fullerton School District, and it's amazing. So just thank you to everybody that makes that happen. I'm looking forward to tonight's meeting.
There it is. Thank you. Well said. I just want to add on to last night's recognition so that everybody who was recognized, 4 of our teachers, all have their names out there for those looking in and listening. The reason this was for 2 years is, of course, last year, because of COVID, the event did not happen. And the event is sponsored by one family. I think their name is Fisk. And they've spent over $2 million recognizing teachers in Orange County over the last number of years. The winners get $500 each, and the runners-up $300. Right? How much?
It was 3,000, 5,000,
Oh, God.
20,000.
Oh, 3,000, 5,000, 20,000.
It's a little different than
I
500.
can't believe the numbers. Okay.
$500 to each nominee, and
Each.
then the rest came from the Fisk Foundation.
So the family is amazingly generous. And not surprisingly, the other wonderful group supporting the event was Schools First. And we really appreciate them and the Register for supporting our teachers. So for the year 2021, Debbie Sok Hayun from Maple School was honored, and we were very proud of her, And Shannon Glaspie was there from Nicholas Junior High, and that was really exceptionally nice to have them honored, even though it was a year later than they should have been honored. And then for 2022, besides our wonderful Pamela Zanell, we have who is at Hermosa Drive, we had Rebecca Robledo, from Ladera Vista School of the Arts. And so what I sort of want to point out to you is we had people honored from throughout our city because, as you were saying, we have wonderful teachers throughout our city, and that's really, really special. We have in our schools, for those of you who may not know this, an explicit program where we want grade level teachers at each school to work together and bring out the best curriculum and practices they can do as a team. Now, that sounds easy, but putting it to play in a school situation is not always the easiest thing. And sometimes when I visit a school, I see exemplary examples of such teaching. And while each teacher puts their own personal stamp on how they implement the same curriculum and ideas and concepts for the same grade level, when you walk through the room, it's in your face that they have worked together. And I want to mention something I saw at Laguna Road this week. In the first grade at Laguna Road, I thought I walked into a natural habitat. First of all, they had nets that had crystalline, and some butterflies had already come out. And that was like really nice, 3 classrooms. Then, in a very excited way, the students showed me this little container with these black dots in it and told me absolutely not to touch. I had no idea what I was looking at. This was the beginning of ladybugs. And I was like, oh my God, that's really good. And then they had, oh my goodness, they had hermit crabs in each room. And so they showed me where the hermit crab was and each shell that the hermit crab had already gotten rid of. And I was thinking, regardless of which first grade class you were in, you had this wonderful experience. I also, in visiting several schools in our district recently, have seen eggs, future hatching eggs. Some of them were going to hatch yesterday, and I didn't get to see it. Some of them are going to hatch this week, but you can see that across the district, children are getting incredible hands-on experiences in science, and it doesn't matter which school you're at. So I want to commend our teacher leaders, the principals, the grade level leaders in each school, and our district leaders for giving these ideas and sharing them amongst our schools, because it only makes us better. And I want to give a special shout out to you, Mark, for working so well with us for so many years. And we appreciate your efforts on behalf of our children and your teachers and your camaraderie. So thank you, Mark. Appreciate it a great deal. Now we get to do our wonderful agenda. Oh, wait a minute. We have you. We have you.
I have me. I'm going to keep mine short. I'm going to echo what Hilda just said with Mark. Thank you for everything that you have done over the years, and I think that students have been lucky to have such a wonderful, caring individual as part of their journey through school. So continue on. All right, I will then move on to our agenda. No, not our agenda. I'm gonna move on to something. DLAC, now we're for associations and groups. Is there someone from DLAC, or is there a report?
Yes, President Berryman, I'll be reading on behalf of DLAC. Good evening, President Berryman, school board members, executive cabinet, Superintendent Dr. Pletka, and all families present and those listening. We would like to thank all of the families that attended the DLAC meeting on April 15th at Rolling Hills. A special thank you to all of the Rolling Hills families who provided the delicious food for the attendees. We hope that the Tell a History, Grow a Story activity during the meeting continues to drive the message of the importance of bilingualism and multiculturalism. Today was a School Smarts parent culmination at Nicholas Junior High, where parents got to share their personal academic goals for their children. The common denominator was the importance and commitment that parents have to continue to support their children's academic potential. Certificates were given to all parents who participated in the training. Thank you to Dr. Pletka, Dr. Julian Lee, Dr. Linda Soltero Ruiz, Nadia Williams, Alma Mata, and Andrea Lopez for their commitment to our families. We look forward to continuing to empower our families and our communities. Sincerely, Egleth Nunsi, DLAC President.
Thank you. All right, do we have a representative from PTA today?
President Berryman, I will be reading for
Okay.
PTA as well. Good evening, President Berryman, members of the board, Dr. Pletka, and cabinet. Just a little over a month left in the school year and lots of fun things happening around the district. It's so fun to see the regular events like open house, movie nights, and jogathons back for a fun end to the year. Today, council held our spring luncheon, which hasn't happened for 3 years. It was a fun event to gather, chat, and recognize some truly amazing individuals. Fullerton Council honored and awarded 5 graduating seniors with scholarships. Andrea Florendo from Troy High School, Daniel Johan from Troy High School, Louis Lee from Sunny Hills High School, Eliza Lynch from Fullerton High School, Aaliyah Knoll from Fullerton High School. Council also recognized and honored several individuals who have gone above and beyond for their dedication and work to better our students, schools, and communities. Vanessa Guillen, Honorary Service Award from a Raymond parent. Jennifer Nguyen, an Honorary Service Award, Sunset Lane parent. Amindra Jayasingh, an Honorary Service Award from Fissler parent. Christy Carter, Honorary Service Award, Fullerton Council. Lauren Whalen, Outstanding Teacher Award, Hermosa Elementary. Alan Witten, Outstanding Administrator Award from Sunny Hills High School. And Carmen Cerna, Continuing Service Award, Fullerton School District. Thank you and see you all soon. Wendy Reed.
Mind. I wanted to let everyone know, in case this was important to you, that Christy Carter's last child is graduating from high school this year. So she will no longer be leading PTA council, and she is moving on. She thinks she's moving on, but I'm sure that the city of Fullerton and our schools are going to grab her to do some wonderful things. But that was sort of bittersweet today when she received her honorary service award.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that report. All right, CSEA, Tatiana Ortega, is Tatiana here? There she is. Welcome.
Good evening. Oh, can you hear me? Okay. Good evening, Dr. Pleka, President Berryman, members of the board, cabinet, and community. I am Tatiana Ortega, CSCA Second Vice President. I would like to start with saying Happy School Bus Driver Appreciation Day. Today, we celebrate all their hard work and commitment to the safe transportation of our students. They work effortlessly getting students to and from home and school, and work early in the morning or late into the evening for our sports and field trips. Every morning, they're up before the sun and the birds. They faithfully make their way through all kinds of conditions. They cheerfully greet us and our kids, and day after day, year after year, ensure they safely make it to school and back home. Sometimes the kids yell, sometimes cries occur. Many times it's just a long drive around the same old route. I don't know what brought them to this job, but I'm thankful they're here. They make a difference each day they come to work. They're the first face our students see as they leave home in the morning. Then they set the tone for the day and always make it pleasurable. I want everyone to know how much their work matters, how thankful we are each day when they take students to school and carefully return them home. I know their job isn't easy, especially this time of the year when spring fever has hit and all the kids are extra antsy. We appreciate the job they do and the way they do it. Thank you, Transportation, for your excellent work. And I didn't include this in my report, but I don't know if any of you in the cabinet have taken a stop at Transportation. There was many banners made for them and posted there. LV contributed along with their Montsevier with their handprints and everything, telling them thank you. And CSCA provided treats and goodie bags for all the drivers and all of the staff that work there in Transportation. During this time of the year, CSCA is working on Employee of the Year submissions and collecting applications for our annual CSCA Employee Scholarship Awards that we give out. This year, we will be honoring 3 graduating high school seniors from our fellow CSCA members. Lastly, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the hard work of the classified HR director, Paul Dynas, and his team. They are working hard on placing IAs, health assistants, and office staff for the summer learning programs that will be occurring this summer. Thank you, members of the board, cabinet, and community for your time.
Thank you for that report. Okay, FIDA, Mark Jacobs.
Good evening, President Berryman, Board of Trustees, Dr. Pletka, guests, teachers. Since my last board report 2 weeks ago, with just over about a month of school left, I can report to you that FSD teachers are busy teaching, administering state testing, preparing for open house once tomorrow, mentoring their students in speech and debate, taking their kids to the mountains, to Catalina, the Ocean Institute. The list of activities FSD teachers are doing are too long to mention here. But as president representing teachers, I would like to say that you are amazing, valued, and truly appreciated. Last night, we had a wonderful celebration at the Disneyland Hotel to celebrate the 2021 and 2022 Orange County Teachers of the Year. The theme was changing the world one student at a time. I would like to recognize and celebrate some of Fullerton's best. 2021 Teacher of the Year nominees Devi Sakyun from Maple Elementary and Shannon Glaspie of Nicholas Junior High. In 2022 Teacher of the Year nominees Rebecca Robledo from Ladera Vista Junior High, and also our very own Pamela Zanell from Hermosa Drive. We all celebrated last night. We have some very incredible teachers at FSD, and on behalf of FETA, I would like to also thank board members Sugarman and board members Meyer, Dr. Pletka, Dr. Hammett, Dr. Lee, Jeremy Davis, Ladera Vista Principal Lynch, Nicholas Principal Marcia Gormaz, and Hermosa Principal Llewellyn for attending this very special recognition of our Fullerton teachers. I would also like to say congratulations to go out to our FSD Teachers of the Year that was just announced today too, for our elementary teacher Sarah Cooper from Richmond, and also from junior high Linda Winsfield from Parks. So congratulations to all of you. Also, I'd like to, on a personal note, I'd like to go ahead and recognize too Nicholas Principal Mauricio Gomez and his Vice Principal Abraham Garcia, and all the entire support staff there for providing an excellent culture at Nicholas. It was a pleasure to visit and see all the relationships that were being built, the people that were out connecting with the students, just to provide safety and connection with the kids. It was really amazing to see everybody out. And so I just wanted to say, we recognize that and we really appreciate that. Teachers appreciate that too, because it takes everybody to provide an excellent environment. And so hats off to Nicholas. And on another note, you already are aware that I will be stepping down as FETA president at the end of this school year. After 4 years as FETA president and 25 years teaching in the Fullerton School District, I've decided that now is the time to retire, focus on my wife, my family, and my daughter's upcoming wedding on June the 4th. My last official day will be July 1st. However, by FETA bylaws, my first vice president, very capable Darlene Noslan, shall fulfill the remaining term of my remaining year of my term beginning June the 15th. Darlene has been very involved in CTA, FETA, Executive Board, State Council, as well as Orange County Service Center. She is very, very well versed in CTA, FETA, and she's known throughout the district also. Darlene is very, yeah, give her a round of applause. Darlene is very knowledgeable and pal. She's kind and very empathetic. So she's a little different than me, and you'll probably appreciate it, right? But she is no stranger to problems and problem solving and working with the district. She will represent FETA and FSD very well. So I congratulate her, and I thank her also for taking over. It's been a pleasure to work with you all, and I'm truly thankful for your commitment, dedication, supporting our teachers and our students. I value the strong working relationship that FETA and FSD has created. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for that report. FESMA, is anyone here? Oh, you're way in the back. I couldn't see you. Robin Gilligan.
So good evening. Again, Robin Gilligan with FESMA, oh my goodness, see, I shouldn't touch anything. Just look at this. Okay, with FESMA. And so wanted to just give you a little update on some of the things that have been happening over the last week. I wasn't here last month, so just to follow up, on April 13th, we did have our Every Student Succeeding celebration, and that was to honor students who have overcome some adversity and challenges in their life and have risen above, and the staff and the administrators at their school sites have recognized them. And so thank you to Leonel and to Beverly for attending and really making our event special. And so that was really, really nice. Lots of thank yous from families at the event afterwards, as well as through email. So we're really excited about that. And then also just a little reminder, wanted to say that tomorrow is a celebration for administrative secretaries. So we want to make sure we're honoring them. And a big thank you to our CSCA team who helps to empower us to do our jobs and look great. So we appreciate that. Congratulations to Jean Summy, who has now joined officially our team as a principal of Commonwealth. And then we also have in our management 3 administrators who are being recognized for the year, and that is Lori Bruneau of our risk management. So we're very excited to celebrate her, Laura Makeley, and Julie Brandon to help lead with our principals who have joined us this year as well. And then also, Mark, I know that it's an era that's actually going behind, right? And when you walk out that door, although you are taking on a new era and a journey for your life, the work that you have done to help build the PAL program from its inception to our evaluation process to all of the collaboration that we have started from day one, and many managers and administrators in our district, it's definitely going to be a legacy that you leave behind. But we are 100% looking forward to working with Darlene. You were right there with us too. So it's going to be a nice transition, but something that it has been a joy and a pleasure to work alongside you. So thank you for that. And other than that, we are going to continuing on with the remainder of the last end of our year. Of course, we are all working at the school sites to finish state testing, the lovely assessment period, all the end of year activities and celebrations. And then for us at the district level, we are all working to organize and prepare for our summer programming. So more to come on that, but still going strong, and we'll continue to go strong. Thank you.
Thank you. I get so caught up in these reports, I forget that I'm supposed to be doing this. All right. Okay, so with that, we're done with our information from associations. We're moving on to public comments. I have one public comment this evening, and since she's not new to the public comment arena, you're okay if I don't read the rules, right? Okay. Amy Freeze, would you like to come up?
Thank you so much, Board President Berryman. When you put it like that, I kind of feel like I'm coming up here to read a report, my own report, because this has been quite a gathering of months, 7, I think, total. So I would like to say hello, Dr. Pletka, Board President Berryman, board members, cabinet. My name is Amy Freeze, and as a Fullerton School District parent, I want to publicly thank you all. This is such a special district. That's why we're all here. I love hearing the reports. I love seeing all of the praises, and I love being a part of so many of the different functions at the district. Thank you, board, for the discussion agenda item 2 weeks ago on the California bills. I know that that was not easy for you. Trustees, some of you let us know that what you believe makes a difference and what you believe maybe doesn't make such a difference. I'll admit that part was a little hard for some of us to hear because we have felt your collective voices do matter. But we stopped and we listened and we learned from you, and we wanted to hear what you had to say. And we've always believed that our parent voices matter, and we've always believed that your voices matter because these kids matter. And even though our trustees did not maybe favor the idea of a resolution, we still appreciated you agreeing to the idea of a joint letter. I love a good compromise. So thank you, board. And thank you, Dr. Pletka, for being a part of that conversation, that part of that discussion, and for so graciously revising your original letter to Governor Newsom regarding the mandate to now specifying these bills and uploading them to the California State Legislature position portal for SB 871, SB 866, and AB 1993. Trustee Meyer. I appreciated you being open to a resolution and letting us know why. Thank you for being boldly brave in this time and writing your own letter as well. I thought that was really great. We are not done yet, as some of these bills are on hold, awaiting a hearing date, or even may come back later. There have been some celebrations. Some of us are still waiting because we know the season is not quite done yet. There are even more bills that many of us are fighting. I even just made a phone call before 5 o'clock tonight on another bill. But as a district, I think we've drawn a line together which does matter for employee choice and parent choice as we stand for our children with other districts and in this state. And for that, I thank you. And I also just want to say thank you for being welcoming every time that parents are here. And when I see you outside of this room as well, you're always inviting, you're always approachable, you're always respectful. And this has been such a challenging time, I'm sure, for all of you. I know for all of you, for parents, for kids, but it's really been a delight for everyone to come together so peacefully and respectfully. And I feel like our district has done such a great time of that. I know for me, as a parent, it's been one of the most meaningful times. I really feel like I've learned a lot of new things as a community member and as a parent. So thank you all so much.
Thank you for that. We appreciate you. And I think we all appreciate the fact that our parents and our community members feel comfortable enough to utilize public comments and have that dialogue. So thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Okay, we are moving on, putting my glasses on, approving our minutes from our meeting of April 12th.
I move to approve the regular meeting of April 12th, the minutes.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Anybody have any comments? Changes? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are you going to abstain? And one abstention because Hilda wasn't here. So 4-0. All right. Agenda approval. We have a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda of tonight.
Okay. Right. And moved and seconded that we approve the agenda as it is. Okay. Any comments? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Moving on to the consent agenda. We have a call to, or a motion to approve it, and then some discussion items.
I move to approve.
Second.
Okay, a motion to approve and second the consent agenda for this evening. Does anyone have anything they want to comment on? It looks like we have the gifts already on the screen.
Oh, it's a mind reader. Thank you, Anna.
I do want you to know that happened last month or last week too, or whenever that was when you weren't.
But it was looking for me.
It was.
I do want to point out the importance of our PTAs in making a difference in schools where they can. This agenda has $20,000 going to Sunset Lane for their media center updates. How fabulous. And Fissler is donating over $50,000 for various things, including field trips for their students. And all of these parents are making a huge difference. Well, not just parents, because they get money from community also. And Hermosa Drive PTA, I'm sort of focusing on the PTAs tonight, $5,000 for sixth grade outdoor ed. And the Sunset Lane Education Foundation, $5,000 added to the media center improvements. And a very special thank you to each of those groups for helping our district to do even better for our schools and our students. We appreciate that as a board. And there's one where I wanted to pull, but does somebody have something they wanted to do?
Does anyone have any more comments about any of the consent items?
No, but we look forward to all the appreciation weeks. So
Yes.
nurses, teachers, bus drivers,
Yes.
classified.
Yeah, I second that.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, give me 1 second. I
We'll
just
speak
wanna-
slowly while Hilda finds her other item.
I can't find it.
And I think maybe not just at this moment, but I think year round, the appreciation for all of them. for everyone that makes this district special.
Well, and the contracts and the collaborations for everything that's very important to us and to our students.
Okay, it's okay.
It's
You can
okay?
go
All
ahead.
right.
Yeah, just
So seeing no other conversation or discussion on consent items, all those in favor of the consent agenda with no changes, say aye.
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 Any opposed? No? Okay, passes. All right, we're moving right along. We've got some discussion items. We've got lots of discussion, lots of stuff to happen tonight. So on that note, we're going to move to my numbers are off here. So we're on our
11.
number A for our discussion items. So Julian's going to come up and talk about our new Korean dual language program. I remember way back when we had been looking at bringing in dual language for many, many, many years and just couldn't do it. And all of a sudden, we are now going strong. So take it away.
We are going strong. Thank you, President Berryman. I would like to just give a big thank you to the Multilingual Task Force and those who served. We were represented by community members. One here with us tonight, Dr. Cho from Cal State Fullerton, and our parents who have served. Very committed from the inception of the Spanish dual immersion, all the way to the Korean, just understanding the importance of what the district has in mind when we say bilingualism, biliteracy. And with that, we also have teachers who serve on the committee. We have our district staff, and it takes a full team with all of our stakeholders who are committed to the vision for expanding these programs that benefit our kids to become global thinkers, learners, and contributors. So with that, our staff has a brief presentation. These are recommendations that come to us from the Multilingual Task Force. I would like to introduce to you Nadia Williams, our program specialist, who leads our Multilingual Task Force.
as you walk away, we'd like to applaud your entire team.
Thank you.
President Berryman, Board of Trustees, Dr. Pleka, Executive Cabinet, and community members in the audience and at home. It brings me great pleasure to share the journey of our Korean dual language program and working towards getting this taken care of. And we have some recommendations for you for our future program. And so the first slide is just telling you a little bit about the Multilingual Task Force. Dr. Lee talked a little bit about it already. It's just consisting of parents, teachers, administrators, and community members. And we're really here to give the best programs possible to our students, not only our students that are learning English for the first time, but also our English only students, really promoting that bilingualism and biliteracy or multilingualism and multiliteracy through a variety of opportunities. So not only in-school opportunities, but also after school and different things that students can do to become bilingual or biliterate. And so one of the outcomes of our Korean dual language, of our Multilingual Task Force this year was the Korean Dual Language Subcommittee. And we really were looking at what does this journey need to look like? So I'm going to talk about a few of the things that we've done this year to bring us to our recommendations that I'll share with you shortly. We did some virtual tours, so it was a little difficult to get into those classrooms. And so we did a virtual visit with Glendale Korean Dual Language Program. And we also got to do an in-person visit in Anaheim, our neighbors, their Korean dual language class. We took a small group of us. They only allowed a couple of us in, so it was a little internal group to see what a Korean dual language program looks like. So with the virtual visit, it was more of conversation. And then we were able to go to one of their parent meetings where they share, what does it look like for your student in this, in our classrooms? And then, one of the things that came out of our first multilingual task force meeting was that we wanted to be able to give our parents the knowledge of what is a dual language model, what is multilingualism, what is multiliteracy. And so we had the opportunity to be able to put together a mini series of trainings. So we had 2 wonderful trainings, 2 weeks back to back. And one of them was presented by Dr. Cho, Dr. Grace Cho from Cal State Fullerton. She is a professor there, and she gave us knowledge on what it is to be multilingual. And she also talked about why do parents choose a dual language program for their student. And then she talked about what should ELD look like. So we got so much knowledge. It was great hearing from her. She's such a great partner with us. And then we got to put that to work, and we had the opportunity to be able to hear from our Spanish dual language teachers. Both schools came together, so teachers were represented from Raymond Elementary and Pacific Drive. And we got to see the journey of what does it look like in kindergarten, all the way to what it looks like in our 5th grade classroom right now. And then we got to become the students. And Jenny Shin, one of our own Korean teachers, was able to teach us not only the language, but the culture. And so it really helped the parents see when your child is in a dual language program, it's not only learning a new language, learning how to read it and write it, but also to be able to learn the culture as well. And then we had a town hall meeting where we gathered input from the community around some of the recommendations you're going to see today, because we wanted to make sure that every voice was heard. So we shared some of the things that we learned during our mini series, some share outs, and then we listened to them. So they were representing not only their families, but other families that weren't able to come. We've had subcommittee conversations regarding the recommendations. So the 3 that you're going to see shortly after my next slide are location, model, and then when should we get started on this? So before I can really go into everything, I want to share with you who Dr. Grace Cho is. So I know there was a consent for her because we have really partnered with her, and we are so excited to have her not only on our multilingual task force committee, but also to have her part of our Korean dual language, growing it, right? And so she's a professor in the Department of Education at CSUF. She is a long-term active member of the Fullerton School District Multilingual Task Force, so this is not her first year. She is a member of the Korean Dual Language Subcommittee as well. She has great connections with the Korean Educational Center and partnerships with the community around us to really give us some great services that we want to be able to tap on her shoulder for. So the services she's providing us right now are through our multilingual emergent bilingual grant. And some of the things that she's done is providing those professional developments I just shared with you, not only for our families, but for our staff as well. Assisting with recruiting those wonderful teachers that you guys were talking about earlier, but being able to get those teachers that are multilingual teachers that are able to really support our students, not only in the dual language program, but also in our regular classrooms as well. And then promotes teacher and community understanding around emergent bilingual students. So the 3 recommendations we have for you today are the approval of the dual language pathway at Laguna Road, approval of the 50-50 model of instruction, and then the approval of the opening of the Korean Dual Language Academy for fall 2022. These recommendations, I'm going to go into them a little bit more coming up right now. But at our meetings with our parents, all the meetings we've had this year, we have really done a good job of curating a list of strengths and then challenges, and how are we going to do this work? And so that's where these recommendations come from. So our first one, why did we come with Laguna Road? We had quite a few principals, community members, and schools in the pool for this. And it really came down to, in the past, we've had a criteria where we've really evaluated location. We looked, but not limited to this evaluation, but at the criteria, we really looked at space. Is there room to grow a program? So yes, we're only starting with 1 Korean class, but what is that going to look like as we move up? Do we have room to do that K through 6? We also look at community interest, not only our parents, but also the community members around and our school community as well. our principals' interest and their support in supporting this program. And so Laguna Road is the school that had the least barriers and the community support and also the parent support. So showing up to those subcommittee meetings and being part of the multilingual task force as well.
And principal passion.
And yes, because her own children are in dual language. And then our next recommendation is for the 50-50 model for instruction. We did get to visit both models. And so when we really looked at the strengths and we looked at some of the challenges, we felt that the 50-50 model was the best model for us. Korean is a Category 4 language, so it's very different from the English language. So we felt this was the best model to really get our students to be biliterate by that 5 to 7 years. And so that's recommendation number 2. It really looked at curriculum as well, being able to have access to curriculum and being inclusive to our students. So not only our students that are starting with us in kindergarten, but students that might be coming from out of the country later on as well.
Excuse me, what do you mean by a level 4 language?
Category 4. So I wish I could, well, Dr. Cho would be great at this, but I'm going to give you, so Spanish would be a Category 1. So it's similar to English. So it's easier to learn when you're comparing the languages. Korean is a Category 4. So it's 4 away from that. So it's a little tougher when you're comparing the two languages together. So doing that translanguaging.
Thank you.
We just felt this was the best model because we want the best for our students. And so as we came up with the list, and even our parents had input into this one, and a couple of the parents shared that they, being a parent of a student coming from the country in a second grade class or an older grade, it would be nice to have an option for their student to be able to have a program like this available to them if there was space. And so it's just being that inclusivity. And then the opening date, we're ready. So like I heard you say earlier, we've been talking about this for a long time. We have the community support. We have the right players in order to start this. And we kind of wrote a grant declaring that we would start our Korean dual language program in the 2022-2023 school year. Enrollment will occur during the summer, actually like tomorrow, if you say okay, and through the summer. And then there would just be one class opening, and that would be in kindergarten.
You know us so well.
So is there any questions or?
Did we get that grant?
We don't
I'm just playing.
I was curious on, as you were speaking with our dual immersion partners or the other schools, what do you see is going to be the biggest difference in a Spanish dual immersion to a Korean dual immersion?
So the curriculum, and so being able to have access to curriculum. So we all know that it's easy to find things in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
And so with the Korean language, we do have to go to special stores. And so that's what those partnerships that we've made, we're so excited about, is because we're ready for it. We know where to go, and we have everything in our fingertips. But I would say that's the hardest thing, is the translation of the language. There's not as many resources, but it's definitely doable.
You might not be able to answer this. It might have to come from building, but Laguna Road has a challenge. Infrastructure wise, right? It's kind of hard to get to. The traffic is kind of all over the place. Could you kind of talk a little bit about what we'd be doing to mitigate that?
Right. Prior to conversations around Korean dual language, there were already plans in place to extend parking at Laguna Road. So with that, in addition to that, what has helped the situation is actually the declining enrollment. I know that sounds funny to say that actually helped, but this actually builds Laguna Road's enrollment back up to 3 kinder classes. So we don't feel that it's an addition to the existing traffic congestion. It will be at best status quo, but with the additional parking build out, we don't feel that it will be an impact.
Thank
I
you.
hope that answers your question.
No, it does. It
Not
does.
improve, but
Yeah.
not impact. I have a question. Are we receiving a support from the Korean Community Center in Los Angeles?
Absolutely. Right. We've received grant funding, 30,000 per year, to expand Korean expand Korean language programs, and we've expanded at several sites. But the Korean Education Center has always been very supportive of expanding through an actual program. They're the ones that have actually encouraged us to go visit. Glendale was one of the programs that we visited when we went up there quite 3 years ago, Hilda. And they were our resource where we would call and they would be able to give us the contact information of people who are just so very helpful. As Nadia mentioned, even when examining the 50-50 model, we had to carefully examine what that meant, because in a 90-10 or an 80-20 model, they don't start English literacy till 3rd grade. And our parent community wanted to start English literacy immediately in kindergarten side by side. And we're able to do that because of the differences of the language. And with that, and a 50-50 model also will offer a classroom of more English instruction, meaning curricular supports, where Nadia mentioned we don't have the exact translation of publication like publishers. And with that, that was all behind the scenes work of the Korean Education Center, giving us the guidance along the way with different curriculum resources we can check out or different models that are available that we can explore. So a lot of research went behind the scenes for the last 3 years.
So the programs we currently have in place, after school and the others, will they continue, or will we cut them back now?
We are looking at sustainability. We're trying to work with the school sites as well as, it's hard to take back a program that's so successful. At Parks Junior High, the classrooms are impacted. So we have the enrollment and the data to support that the students are interested in the program and want to continue it.
Thank you.
I have a question about Anaheim and Glendale. How many years have they been in the program?
So Glendale, they were sharing information about a student who has graduated and now has a job. So graduated from college. So they've been around for 15 plus years. Anaheim, their students are currently in second grade. So when we went there, it was still all Korean instruction. So they do ELD and they do like their English. So they're 20%. Their English is done through ELD and through some of their arts. So like music and art and different things like that. And so we were able to kind of see that, but they're only at 2nd grade.
So is their enrollment pretty solid there? So the people have stayed with the program?
Yes.
I had a couple questions.
Yes.
So assuming that we vote for this program, the interest list is starting tomorrow or enrollment is starting tomorrow?
The interest list already started.
Okay.
So there's a lot of interest in the program. But no, enrollment's not going to start tomorrow, just the work behind that needs to get there.
And then assuming it's similar to the Spanish language, dual language academy, we're asking parents to make a commitment through 8th grade. And so at some point, this board is going to be deciding on a junior high, or is that already?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I make a motion to start Korean Dual Language Academy at Laguna Road starting in August 2022.
I'll second.
Early August 2022.
I don't know how she feels.
We approve the new Korean dual language program to be implemented at Laguna Road utilizing the 50-50 model to deliver instruction and begin the 2022-2023 school year. All right, any other discussion? Just want to say thank you to the committee. Thank you to everyone for doing such a fabulous job and making sure that we've covered everything and really getting out there and bringing people in to provide that information so that we can move forward the best way that we can. So,
President Berryman, we have Dr. Cho here, and I thought we were going to maybe hear from her.
can we vote
Dr.
on this?
Cho?
Can we vote first? Since there's a
Oh.
motion on the table, can I vote? Can we vote and then we'll bring her up?
Great.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. You thought you were going to get away.
Yes, please.
I'm just so excited. Thank you so much. I will support anything I can do.
Thank you so much
What
for
do you
humoring
do
us.
at Cal State? What is your subject area at Cal State? We want to hear you.
Okay. Actually, I've been in Cal State Fullerton. This is my 22nd years. I've been department chair for 5 years. And also I developed the Asian bilingual authorization program, which is Mandarin, Korean, and Vietnamese, and studies running really strong programs there. I am actually, my major is world language. So language education is my specialty. And I teach, I train teacher candidate on how to teach English learners. Those are my.
How many languages can you speak?
Actually, I speak 2, 3, right? 3. Because I was born in Korea, but I grew up in Argentina. And I was Spanish bilingual teacher. So
Love it. So you have
so
both.
English is my third language.
So you can go right into either one of our programs. Not a problem. Thank you.
She is also a former Beechwood parent. Like,
Yay.
yes. And I do want to thank Dr. Sortera Ruiz for her efforts behind supporting Nadia and the team with this, because she's done so much for the team as well as the leadership piece that's needed to run a big program like this.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. We're going to move on to our next item. Looks like Chad's on his way up to talk about administrative reports and sunshines. I was going to sing a song, but I won't.
Thank you, President Berryman. This is the first step in our negotiation process, whereby we provide to the board for your perusal and the public view our initial bargaining proposal with our Fullerton Elementary Teachers Association. This is the first step. At our next board meeting, we would actually bring this item back for the board's approval, consideration for approval, as we get ready to enter the negotiation process.
Okay.
And the second item, item B, is the exact same thing, but with our California School Employees Association, Chapter 130, whereby we bring this forward for your review and the review of the public. And again, we would bring it back for the board's consideration at our next meeting on May 10th. And then that would allow us to enter into our negotiations with CSCA.
And if somebody wanted to see the specifics on that, they would be able to go to our website and we've got the attachments. Are they behind me? Yeah. So it's
Yes.
right there. So
They're right there. They're
for
posted.
the public that doesn't see it here, those areas are there. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Interim Student Achievement Data Report.
President Berryman, I'm so sorry. Can we take 2 or 3 minutes
Certainly.
for a break, please?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. We're taking a 3-minute recess.
We
That-
want to put sunscreen on.
That means you can't talk. You guys. It's right there.
Is my network a part of this?
I think we have, no, we have 3 more big ones. Presentations, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, you guys. I have to be a party pooper, but we've got lots more stuff going on. I was trying to read your shirts. Sorry. I love those. Thank you. I want one of those shirts. Okay, I'm sorry. All right. So next on our agenda is our we haven't done this yet. Student achievement. I thought I had said it, right? I said it. And it was like, wait, didn't I say that already? I saw you come up and then all of a sudden we took a break. You've been standing there the whole time waiting, right?
Yes, it's all a blur now.
Okay. Son, go ahead. Thank you.
Well, I thought the break was asked for so that people had a chance to leave. But I can see a lot of people are still here. So, okay, we're good. That's true. That's true. So good evening, President Berryman, Board of Trustees, Dr. Pleka, and Executive Cabinet. So tonight's presentation is centered around the academic progress our FSD students have made during the school year, specifically looking at analysis of our iReady data. So, anytime we start to review and analyze data, it's always best to start with a question in mind. It's what is it that we want to know? This allows us to kind of narrow the focus and analyze the data sets that help us answer our questions. So as we look at our iReady data, there are 2 questions to consider. One is, how can we determine the academic progress our students have made? And secondly, how much academic progress has been made, and really what contributed to that progress? As we talk about academic progress, the focus is really centered around student growth. Do you remember way back when we had the race right in the middle of our board? Yes, that was all centered around student growth. I think so. I believe so. I think we were all winners at that time, actually. It's really talking about where they started the school year and really where they are right now. We can determine if that growth is what you would typically expect for students within that grade level. Oops, thank you. So to measure this academic progress, we'll focus on our iReady percentile scores from the beginning of the school year, which was administered in fall of 2021, to now, spring of 2022. And before we start looking at the data, I wanted to take a moment to really define what percentile scores represent. First of all, it's important to know that percentile scores don't represent percent proficient, because that's typically what we would expect. Rather, it's a ranking that shows how students performed compared to national averages. So it's more of a ranking than it is percent proficient. So for example, if you had a 4th grader, let's say, who scored in the 40th percentile, what that means is that there were about 60% of students nationwide that scored above that student and 40% of scores that were lower than that. If we were to describe a student who's exactly right in the 50th percentile, we would basically consider that student your typical average student for that grade level. Also, it's important to know that percentile scores take into consideration when the student takes the test. So when we compare percentile scores from the beginning of the year till now, if there is 0 change, we would say that the rate of learning is appropriate. It's what we would typically expect from students for that grade level. And many times when we look at data and when we see data that's stagnant where there's no change, we typically would consider that being no growth. But in this case, when we look at percentile scores, if the percentile scores stays the same from the beginning of the year until now, we would actually say that that was an appropriate rate of learning, that students are on pace to make 1 year's growth.
So 0 represents 1 year's growth for any child who has a 0.
Yes. So for example, if we use an example of a student, when you take your child into the hospital and they are measuring the height of your child, let's say when they're 5 years old, the doctor says your child is in the 60th percentile. That means they're a little bit taller than average. And then let's say the following year, they do the same measurement and the doctor says that your child is still in the 60th percentile. That would actually mean that they grew within that year, that 1 year's growth. If the percentile score dropped, though, from the beginning of the year, we would say that there was a slower rate of learning. And lastly, if a student's percentile score increased, we would say that there is an accelerated rate of learning, that the student is on pace to make more than 1 year's worth of growth. So what does our data tell us about our FSD students and their academic progress? So in ELA, percentile scores grew from 54th percentile to 57th percentile, which was an increase of 3 points. And in math, percentile scores increased 2 points from the 51st percentile to the 53rd percentile. So in both subjects, there was a positive change, meaning that there was an accelerated rate of learning that exceeded the rate of learning for students nationwide. So we can say that FSD students on average are on pace to make more than 1 year's growth by the end of the year. Yes. Mm-hmm.
They grew a year and 4 months. They grew more than a year.
Yes.
Okay. But does it also mean that they're as a group in the 34th percentile?
Yes, nationwide.
So that means
Compared to all students, not necessarily just English learners, but all students.
So that means that 46% of the students in the country are better than them.
Scored higher than them, yes.
Scored higher than them.
Yes, and so I just moved on to that next slide. And so if we look at our subgroup data, we can see that that was the same case as our students overall. So both in ELA and math, percentile scores increased from the beginning of the year. But one area of growth that I wanted to share with you would be with our homeless and foster youth subgroups. They had a percentile increase that was not as high as our percentile increase for students overall. But with that said, in English language arts, our English learner subgroup increased its percentile score by 4 points, which is 1 point higher than students overall, thus closing the achievement gap. In math, our English learners, our economically disadvantaged students and our special ed students had a higher percentile increase than students overall, thus closing the achievement gap in math. This is all grade levels combined together. Yes. And so as we've shared the academic progress that FSD students have made this year, we also want to consider what contributed to these gains. So you can see some that are listed on the slide, but we wanted to highlight 2 specific areas. First are the academic interventions that have been set place at all 20 of our schools, specifically our response to intervention or our RTI program. We have 25 ELA RTI coaches that have supported over 1,300 students this year. Starting this year, we've added 16 math RTI coaches, which is really crazy, which is really huge. and they've supported over 1,000 students. And based on the data, if you look at it right there, students participating in RTI increased their percentile points by 7 points in ELA and 5 points in math, more than doubling the gains made by students overall. So that is a great accomplishment for us to celebrate. But in addition to this great quantitative data, we also wanted to share some qualitative data. So 2 members of our Ed Services team, Emily McDougall, who oversees our ELA RTI program, and Tracy Kim, who oversees our math RTI program, will each share a story about a student who has shown perseverance, have shown grit, as they have made great academic gains through our RTI program.
Thank you. I'm so excited to have this moment to spotlight the accomplishment of one particular student in our RTI program. This is Joshua, and the RTI coach there is Rebecca Partita from Nicholas Junior High. Joshua is a 7th grader who has been an outstanding part of the RTI program all year, and I'm just so pleased to share and celebrate his growth and his hard work. Josh started this year scoring more than 2 grade levels below in overall reading, according to our first iReady diagnostic. He was identified to participate in our RTI school day Lindenwood Bell reading clinic, receiving intensive instruction in his most foundational areas of need. Rebecca Partito worked with him utilizing the Lindenwood Bell system, which has been shown to accelerate student learning with the most intensive needs when implemented according to Fidelity standards. So we're delighted to share that as a result of Joshua's determination and his teacher's dedication and artful teaching, he has made 5 years worth of growth in just 6 months of intensive intervention teaching. Yeah. He's not only showing growth, he's actually closing an achievement gap. And that's just truly outstanding. And while this quantifiable data is so impressive, what's just as powerful are the gains that we don't necessarily see represented through a progress monitoring chart. When we reached out to his parents to get permission to share his success story, they shared that they have seen growth in his confidence throughout the year. And his teacher has also shared that she's seen this blossoming of his self-esteem and his pride in class. He used to speak very negatively about his abilities. And when she shows his progress, he just swells with pride. This is just one snapshot of the large body of work that all our RTI coaches do each and every day in service to students. And I'm just so happy to be able to share it with all of you. I'm going to go ahead and pass this on over to Tracy Kim, a program specialist in educational services, with another success story from RTI Math.
Thank you, Emily. Yes, the mic is too high and the podium's too tall. So I'll have to tilt my phone. Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity to share an inspiring success story about Maximo. So Maximo started the school year, as I was told, with a negative attitude about learning, or lack of motivation. Excuse me. And then after Diagnostic 1, he was put into the RTI program, and then he met his wonderful teacher, his wonderful coach there on the right, Tiffany Young, and his journey began. And so during each cycle, every time they would review over a new skill set, and he would relentlessly work to master the content. She was saying that his attitude toward learning completely evolved. And as he was meeting each of his skill sets, he would go home and he would show perseverance with grit. And anytime he came across a mastery of a skill that he couldn't achieve, he would go home and he would study and he would practice. And then he would come back, and with a vengeance, he would go back and try to achieve that next skill. After Diagnostic 2, he took his Diagnostic 2, and his scores showed that he had grown 4 grade levels in that short span of 3 cycles. And so he had done so well, the teacher and the RTI coach decided to phase him out of RTI. But because of that relationship that he had built with his RTI coach, she says that he still comes and he's like, "Can I work on this skill with you?" And he comes in occasionally when he feels like he wants that extra support. And so it really goes to show that relationship that Tiffany built with him, giving him that nurturing, like you matter type of academic support, really helped him to blossom. And his relationship changed with himself. He was able to build that confidence. And I had a chance to talk to Maximo, and I said, "Do you know why we're meeting you? Do you even know why we're gonna highlight you at the board meeting?" And I asked Maximo, "What would you tell another student that was in your shoes? Like next year, if there was another 5th grade student that came in and he was in your shoes and he didn't feel like he wanted to do the work, what would you tell him?" And kind of grinned and he smiled and he said, I would say, don't give up, keep going. And if you keep trying, things will start happening. So don't give up and push, and you'll be successful. So again, this is just one of the stories that I wanted to share at our RTI meetings. We took some time to share other stories of other students, and they all had wonderful stories to share. But this was just one student that I wanted to highlight, and she wanted, our coach wanted you to know that Maximo truly learned that concept of hard work and determination and effort, and that he really does believe that he can succeed when he puts that work in. Thank you.
So it's really great, I think, to get a chance to hear some of these numbers actually come to life by hearing some of these stories. Let me see. I think, can we go back to the presentation? So a lot of the times I feel like we get an opportunity to review so many numbers, but as we start hearing these stories, really allows us to see the impact that our RTI coaches and our teachers and our principals and site admins as well have really been able to impact the lives of these students, not just for this year, but really moving forward.
Well, and just their spirit.
Yes.
You know, and their confidence and their ability to conquer the next thing, knowing that they can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I appreciate you putting stories to numbers. So thank you.
Thank you. Perfect. So another contributing factor to our academic gains has been the supports given to our English learners. Professional development for teachers has been an area of focus to reimagine what designated ELD time looks like, as well as asset-based learning for emergent bilingual students. Parents have also been trained on the benefits of being bilingual, how to support their child at home, and what the process is to becoming English proficient. And so through these supports, our English learners overall, as well as our long-term English learners, have increased their percentile scores. So normally we don't compare data from 3 years ago, but the significance in doing so is really just to see what pre-pandemic levels were like compared to today. We thought that it was important to share this data to better understand the impact that the pandemic has had on our students academically. Since our iReady data was primarily focused on percent proficient back in 2018-19, we used this data set to compare how we were back then to now. So this data actually represents percent proficient.
Is this the same group of students?
No, it's
2
not.
years
It's
later?
it's different groups of students. So as you can see, the percentage of students proficient is lower. As you can see, the percent of students proficient is lower in both subject areas, especially in math. But as we look at the data by grade level, we're able to see specifically where the biggest needs are. So you can see that in both ELA and math, our students in the primary grade levels have been impacted the most. And to a certain degree, it's something that we could have all sort of predicted. We've all known that virtual learning would be the most challenging and difficult for our younger students. And really, this data that you see really confirms that. And because of this, there is a need for targeted interventions in early literacy, as well as in math. So here are some next steps for us as a district. As we shared in the previous slide, a focus on early literacy, specifically in the big 5 reading components. And that would be phonics, phonological awareness, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension, as well as a focus on teacher professional development. A focus on math is essential as well, especially for our younger students. In addition, we'll continue to focus on English language development for our English learners, provide support to our homeless and foster youth students, and offer extended learning opportunities outside of school hours, including this summer, which we'll share about later in the presentation.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to go back.
Yes.
To where it's broken down by grade.
Sure, let me go back there.
Shouldn't we be looking at like math grade 2 from 2018, 2019 correlates to math grade 4 or 5 for 21, 22, right?
Yeah,
that would be the
That'd be
same
more of a
cohort.
cohort. Yes, that'd be more of a cohort match.
Okay. Can we get that data broken down
Definitely.
also?
Yes, we can do that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
This data gives you kind of an idea of two things. One is it gives you an idea of how likely we'll compare on future SBAC scores, that kind of in terms of predicting where we see the biggest needs and biggest growth. And so actually, ironically, in ELA in the upper grades, we actually see some better growth or actually higher proficiency than 2 years ago, which is, again, a bit ironic. But it definitely pinpoints the areas that we really need to work on.
So like to highlight maybe, if we go back on that left column, ELA grade 6 from 2018, 2019 was at the 43rd percentile.
And it still is.
2 years later, they're still at the 43rd percentile.
That's
but
actually percent proficient.
Percent
So-
proficient,
Yes.
pardon
So a
me.
little bit different than the data sets that we were looking at with in the beginning part of the presentation. And the reason why we chose percent proficient is because that was the data that we had back from 18, 19. That's kind of what we had focused on. So we wanted to make sure that the data sets were consistent.
I think the biggest tragedy, and it was addressed here by Dr. Pletka, was students that should have been in kindergarten learning the foundations of reading, for example. I mean, that is borne out by this data.
Yes.
Also, we did see like tremendous loss. And the real sort of the sadness with that is that that's something that never gets to be built upon, right? It's like this almost missing block that's going to affect the learner potentially, going forward without RTI.
Yeah, and that's where that continued academic interventions, with RTI, but then outside of RTI, after school programs as well, that's going to be so essential moving forward, not only for next year, but for many years to come. Yes. And so with that, I wanted to thank you for giving us the opportunity to present our interim student achievement report. If you don't have any other questions.
I was just
Turn your mic on.
I was just going to comment, as policymakers, kind of looking at kind of next steps as we look at the LCAP. I mean, this data is meant to kind of like inform, like, where are the needs? And as you look at it, where should we be spending funding, resources? And while you'll hear about other areas like SEL, this definitely points to some of those areas. So again, just to highlight the early literacy, mathematics in the early grades in particular, homeless. And I think that makes sense that during the pandemic, they may have even had less access. And if you think of if they were doing some of the learning at home, that they had even less support. So I think this is an area that needs some continued focus. And while they made what you would expect growth, actually a little more than what you would expect nationally, our goal is actually to close achievement gaps. And so the homeless and foster, I think, continues. So early literacy, early mathematics, and then homeless and foster, I think, are some of the areas that the data points out. And then as decision makers in this area, as we bring things forward, to keep that in mind, that it should be a priority.
And to get our students at least up to the 50th percentile. I think some of these numbers are sort of tragic. Not in growth, but in where they actually are.
Okay, on that happy note. It's okay. Thank you so much for your time and effort and that data. And again, I think it's a work in progress. And thank you for reminding us of what we have to tackle and what we should be concentrating on and really looking for as we move forward for our plan for the next few years. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Now, how are we going to address? Oh, are you back? Are you still up there?
Yes, I'm just
I'm like, why aren't you sitting down yet? I said you could go. All right. Sorry. So how are we going to address all of these things that we need to
Yes.
concentrate on? Tell
Yes.
us.
So we
more.
have been really busy gearing up for the many programs that are being offered in the summer. And so we wanted to take some time to share with you the list of the summer programs that are being offered, along with a brief introduction of each of the programs. And so we'll start with the biggest program that's being offered this summer, which is our Summer Learning Academy. Being that last year was really the first year that we implemented the Summer Learning Academy, we did partner with West Ed and to really determine the academic progress that our students from last year had made, those that had participated in that summer program last year. And so we wanted to start with that before we move on to share with you what our plans are for this year. So to determine the impacts of the Summer Learning Academy, we analyzed the percentile scores at the end of last year, with the percentile scores at the beginning of this year. So basically the end of last year, then they had that summer, and then where did they land at the beginning of this year? So this allows us to analyze the data of our SLA students, our Summer Learning Academy students, to see if there was a difference in their percentile scores. The approach to this analysis is very similar to what we had just presented on in terms of our iReady data. So the analysis indicated that overall, the largest gains in learning were among students who attended the Summer Learning Academy. This was especially true for our English learners. And so during the summer, we typically tend to see percentile scores either remain the same or even drop in many cases. But for those who attended our Summer Learning Academy, we actually observed the opposite trend. So overall, students showed an increase in percentile scores after attending Summer Learning Academy. With the exception of our economically disadvantaged students in math, there was an increase in percentile scores for our English learners, for our economically disadvantaged students, as well as our Hispanic students. The greatest increases came from our English learners, who saw an increase in 1.8 percentile points in ELA and 1.4 percentile points in math. And that's from the end of the year, going through the participating in the program, and then testing at the beginning of the year. And so with this data in mind, we will be offering year 2 of our Summer Learning Academy this summer. And so for this summer, we're targeting current kinder through 7th grade students needing intensive academic support in both English language arts and math. So we know that this program is essential for so many of our students to begin the steps to becoming proficient. And so we're currently in the process right now of registering students with our schools, making that extra effort to really recruit and make sure that students are registering for Summer Learning Academy. Our RTI coaches and our teachers are involved in identifying and recruiting students, and we have all office staff that are contacting parents, encouraging them to register. Yes, actually the asterisk is more that there is it's an add-on, it's a strand that we're adding on to this program. We'll share that in the next slide. Right now, we're still in the process of collecting the registration forms. Our due date just ended last week, and so we're collecting them right now. We'll take a look to see if there's more spots, and if there are, we let the sites know to say, hey, there's some more spots. Please go ahead and invite your second kind of tier group of students that were identified. So students will be learning through 3 different 1-hour rotations with an hour of targeted in-person interventions in ELA focused on early literacy skills using phonological awareness curriculum, as well as an adaptive program targeting foundational reading skills. Additionally, they'll also receive an hour of math interventions focused on math fluency and number sense. And lastly, they'll receive an hour of PE and art lessons for our elementary students. And for our junior high school students, they will be receiving an hour of career and technical education exploratory wheel. So it gives them an opportunity to see career pathways and so forth for our 7th graders. We will also be offering 3 different strands as well, with a dual language strand for our current dual language students, a Linda Mood Belt strand that provides explicit multi-sensory reading instruction, and an SDC strand for our students in a special day class with a focus on early literacy and math foundations. And that's that additional strand that we've added this year. So even
all the children who are special day would go to Fern Drive.
yes, because and Robin Gilligan will eventually share about the extended school year program there as well at Fern Drive.
And students in dual language will go to their regular school.
We are actually setting up Acacia as the hub for our dual language students. It's a little bit larger of a school, and so we were able to establish the school there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So even beyond the sports that are provided in our Summer Learning Academy, we have an additional program for our students. Our Extended Play Summer Edition program is an asynchronous, self-paced program that provides flexibility for students to learn at a time that's most convenient for them. So this program is open to all kinder through 7th grade students. And now we'll share about the other programs being offered this summer, starting with extended school year.
Okay, so extended school year will be held at Fern Drive Elementary School. It is focused for students who are being served with special education, and their eligibility for extended school year is determined with their IEP team. There is very specific criteria under the Ed Code as well as federal law that we need to follow. And so we are hoping to have around 150 to 200 students attend. So it is eligible for all students who are ages pre-K through 7th grade. Our 8th graders do transition up to the high school district, and they provide the extended school year for 8th grade. And it will run from June 9th to July 8th. We do have 2 holidays, Monday, June 20th, which is Juneteenth, and Monday, July 4th, which is the 4th of July. So we will not have school on those 2 days. So we really will be running a 22-day window. We have to have 20 full days for extended school year. So it'll be 20 full days for students to attend from 8 o'clock in the morning till 12 noon. Okay.
But wait, there's more. Alongside the Summer Learning Academy, we are very happy to be able to present the ACES Summer STEAM Camp. We did this last year in conjunction with the Summer Learning Academy, and we will be doing again this year. So the students who we will focus on first is our Summer Learning Academy students. If there's still space, then we will offer spaces to our current ACES families. Then after that, any additional families who may be interested in attending the ACES Summer STEAM Camp. So as you heard, Summer Learning Academy will be from about 8:15 in the morning to 11:45, and that's when we will take over from 11:45 to 5:30. We know that there are needs in our community, and this way we will be able to serve our families from 11:45 to 5:30. And but there's more. When Summer Learning Academy ends on June 29th, we are pleased to be able to offer Summer STEAM Camp from June 30th through July 22nd from 8:30 to 5:30, again, to better serve the needs of our family. And we are very excited also to be working with our students. They have created themes for each of the weeks, things like space, nature, and what they always, and the fun last week of water. Yes, that will be like week 6. You are all invited to come.
And what do you mean by water?
Well, we will be doing experiments with water, but we may have some sport activities with water, water balloons, spraying with water, sponges, so things that I think the students will be happy to engage in when it's hot.
Okay.
And again, and now I'd like to talk a little bit about the Lab Summer Camp, because we want to make sure, again, that all the needs of our families are served. And so our first focus is our lab families and any additional families who may want to join in the Lab Summer Camp. Last year, we only offered the Lab Summer Camp at Sunset Lane, but due to popular demand, we are going to be adding a section at Beechwood School. So it'll be Beechwood and Sunset Lane. I'm sorry, it's filled. So we already opened it up, and now that we are on a waiting list right now.
This is a fee camp?
This is a fee-based camp, and it will run from June 8th to July 27th. And this one will be offered from 8 to 5:30, and will be closed on June 20th and July 4th. And this one, again, to meet the needs of family, this one is offered by weeks. So what we've been seeing is some shuffling. Some families who thought they would need it all the weeks, I think they got excited and pushed all the buttons, and now they realize they want to take some days off. And so as soon as someone is off the list, we add another person. And what's interesting is that this one, the themes for this camp was created by our team, but it's very similar to the ones that the ACES and again, ACES folks selected. And again, the last week, guess what the theme will be?
Water.
Water. Thank you.
Don't know ACEs and lab, just briefly.
Sure. ACES is a program that is grant funded, and we serve Title I schools predominantly. And during the summer, we are able to open it up to more families. The lab is a fee-based program and usually run at non-Title I sites.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and as Dr. Lai mentioned, and there's more. So for our English learners that are newcomers and previously we referred to them as our LTALs, we are referring to them now as our students that are needing additional English skills. We will be serving 120 of our emergent bilingual learners in our EL Jumpstart program that would be housed at Woodcrest. And the program runs the same time frame as the Summer Learning Academy, which is June 8th through the 29th. And our focus will be on form and function of language, which is very important for our students that are learning the English language and ensuring that our newcomers get the proper support. And it's going to be a fun-filled event for them as well, because we are incorporating arts and robotics and including PE lessons for them additionally as well.
So this one will not focus on math at all?
No, this one
No math.
will not. That one will be separate for
So you
them
can go
during the Summer Learning Academy. Yes. Next, we have our speech and debate summer camp, and it will be serving approximately 150 students from 3rd through 7th grade. And it is in person. That is the main thing, that is in person. We have not had our summer camp in person, so that is the very exciting news that we received. They will be receiving individualized coaching from 30 coaches to progress them through this summer camp, and they will be focusing on lessons in public speaking, argumentation, and performance. And we have some team and relationship building for our students throughout the district. This time frame is a little bit different from our Summer Learning Academy. It'll be running at Pacific Drive Elementary School, and it'll go from June 27th through July 8th from 8 to 12 noon.
Is there a fee with this one?
No
No fee.
fees.
Thank you.
No, all free. Yes. Next, we have our GATE summer school for our Summer Scholars Academy. And this is going to be running at Richmond Elementary School from June 8th through June 17th, somewhat during the same time frame as our Summer Learning Academy, servicing 120 identified students from grades 2nd through 3rd. And the goal is for all of our students to be represented at our Summer Scholars Academy. The, yeah, what was that? Sorry about that. Oh, 2nd through 5th grade. Yes. So we have the opportunity for teachers to be learners as well. We will be offering a GATE certificate for them as well. Our students will be working on the GATE 101 essentials, and it will be taught through some GATE master teachers as well. So again, also free. So.
And how do you, I mean, what if you have more than 120 people that sign up? Is it again, first come, first serve? Or
No,
lottery?
it's a lottery.
Okay.
Yes.
And what a great way to train new teachers on GATE and do the 101 that way. That's
Yes.
very smart. Thank you.
Thank you.
All
right, and more. So we are bringing back some summer stage, and it will be at Golden Hill. We're doing Aladdin Kids. It is already full. We have a huge interest in summer stage. So, and it is for incoming students in grades 3 through 6. And that will run actually the weeks of June 13th through the 17th, and then the 21st to the 24th. We'll have a culminating performance that day at 4 o'clock for the community to come and see that show. And then, of course, we have our amazing All the Arts for All the Kids Summer Arts Adventure Camp. We are increasing our offerings this year, and we are having that camp for incoming students in TK, grades TK through 6. And that will be June 6th through the 10th in the morning and the afternoon. And then in week 2, we'll be having it in the morning only, June 13th through the 17th.
All at Golden Hill.
All at Golden Hill this year, yes.
Is there a fee for that camp?
The Summer Arts Adventure Camp is a fee, but the Summer Stage Program is free.
So you can see that there are many options for our students this summer. What we've done is we've posted information on all of our summer programs on our district's homepage. FSD families can either go to the district's homepage or go to that bit.ly that you see there on the slide. They can also call Ed Services as well to get more information.
Although it might be too late.
For some, yes.
If we should offer more.
So the summer programs website will list each of the summer programs along with contact information and a link to register for the program if there's still space.
Is there a way someone can do this not electronically? Would they be able to go to maybe
Yes.
teacher, principal?
Yes, we've actually shared this information with all of our schools and shared the website so that it's easily accessible. So they can actually go to the school, go ahead and register there with that support. They can also call us as well and we can register for them over the phone. And we've actually done that for quite a few families.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
And they could do that with their child's device.
Yes, yes.
I have a couple of questions. Are we providing any nutrition or lunch for some of these?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we are. So we've already worked with nutritional services to make sure that food is provided.
And also.
And transportation as well. So-
Okay.
Awesome. Answered my next question. Thank you with the transportation.
And the classrooms that are being used, they're teacher classrooms. So a teacher at the end of the year knows that somebody's going to be in her room.
Yes, we've
His
informed the summer school learning academy schools, shared that information with the principals, and we've worked out a way for us to give them as much time as they need. So all of our professional development that we do with our summer school teachers beforehand is going to be run at a non-SLA school so that teachers have that opportunity to get their classes ready.
Thank you.
So we want to thank you for this opportunity to share about our summer programs, and we're looking forward to see hopefully many of our students this summer. Thank you.
I do have something to say about these summer camps.
Fabulous.
Thank you all for the hard work. Just amazing, all the different areas you're looking into and needs you're servicing, whether it's for parents who work or students with a specific interest. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Just one last thing. Just can we think about sustainability for the long haul? I know we are probably using some special funding for this, but
Yes,
can we
start
thinking about that early on so we know what that could look like?
And one of the nice things is next month you'll learn about our Encore program where we've received some additional funding for extended learning opportunities, and so it was perfect timing for them to be able to provide those funds for us so that we can actually sustain our summer programs.
And that's coming from the state, right? I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Next up on the docket, we've got Helene and team talking about social emotional learning. So very important, Chad.
And it's my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Helene Morris and her team that promised to bring you a great presentation this evening on our social emotional learning program.
Thank you.
All right. Well, good evening, President Berryman, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Pletka, and our executive cabinet. We are very excited to share our social emotional or SEL teaching and learning. And this is a report of information to let you know what we've been working on this year. So you may remember at this time last year, and I'm going to move this mic a little bit here, if you pardon me. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Isn't this just... Here we go. At this time last year, Dr. Robin Gilligan and I were sharing our plans with you. You may remember this beautiful framework captured into the iris of an eye with the pupil or student in the center. And we shared our vision with you. I see you. You are important and you matter. And you'll see that our entire team, we have that on our shirts today. I see you. You're important and you matter. But tonight, we are talking beyond vision and about the tangible growth of the teaching and learning strand of our social emotional learning program. And of course, it all began with a story. What might surprise you, however, is that it is the story of bamboo.
Oh, that's why we have all the bamboo.
A Chinese bamboo tree takes 5 years to grow. It has to be watered and fertilized every day in the ground where it has been planted. For years, it doesn't outwardly grow as much as an inch. Nothing happens for the first year. There's no sign of growth, not even a hint. And the same thing happens or doesn't happen the second year. And then the third year, the tree is carefully watered and fertilized each year, but nothing shows. No growth, no anything. And so it goes as the sun rises and sets for 4 solid years. And then along comes year 5. And after 5 years of fertilizing and watering have passed with nothing to show for it, the bamboo tree suddenly sprouts and can grow a massive 35 inches per day, or 1.5 inches per hour, reaching full maturity of 90 feet in just 6 weeks. So did the little tree lie dormant for 4 years, only to grow exponentially in the 5th? Or was the little tree growing underground, developing a root system strong enough to support its potential for outward growth in the 5th year and beyond? The answer, of course, is obvious. Had the tree not developed a strong, unseen foundation, it could not have sustained its life as it grew. And growing our social emotional learning program has been like that. It has taken time to establish. It has been attended to every day, developing a scope and sequence, honing skills through training, providing on-site coaching and support to our teachers, progress monitoring the program, increasing the skills of our students, communicating with parents, and more. Many people have been watering and fertilizing our social emotional learning program for many, many years, and maybe without visible results. But then suddenly, our SEL program shows signs of growth and the practice blossoms. And tonight is the story of our bamboo. And these are the farmers who have been tending to the bamboo. I am Helene Morris, the Director of Administrative Services.
I'm Rosanna Fonseca, Social Emotional Learning Coordinator.
I'm Amy Sotolongo. I'm the PBIS coach, TOSA.
I'm Amy Lees, and I'm the district SEL TOSA.
Good evening. I'm Jackie Gallardo Hoffmaster, the lead counselor.
And I'm Lauren Comini, the student success mentor.
So this is the root system of all the bamboo. All our work around social emotional learning is rooted in the work and the framework of the Collaborative for Academic and Social Emotional Learning. The CASEL 5 competencies address 5 broad, interrelated areas of competence: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. These life skills can be taught and applied at various developmental stages, from childhood to adulthood, and across cultural contexts, to articulate what students should know and be able to do to achieve academic success, school and civic engagement, health and wellness, and fulfilling careers. Evidence-based SEL programs are grounded in research and principles of child and adolescent development. They are scientifically evaluated and shown to produce positive student outcomes. As you may know, once bamboo takes root, its structure and foundation below the surface is so strong that it's almost impossible to remove. Being a CASEL Select program indicates that a program demonstrates evidence of effectiveness at improving student outcomes at the highest level. It supports student social emotional growth in all 5 areas, and it offers multi-year programming. The second step, early learning, elementary and middle school programs are designated CASEL Select programs.
Second step lessons are typically taught every other week, and we are really proud to report that this year, students have received over 6,500 lessons from our FSD educators, allowing them to connect with content, their teacher, and each other as they build new social emotional skills, including having a growth mindset, practicing empathy and kindness, managing emotions, and positive ways to problem solve. With the number of students in FSD exceeding 11,000, it is impressive and encouraging how far and wide these valuable concepts are reaching. This year, members of our SEL team have been to every school and have taught over 125 second step and SEL lessons. We have been fortunate to be able to share second step and social emotional learning lessons in the classroom and beyond. This year, we provided professional development to our administrators, PTAs at various sites, teachers, office and support staff, Fullerton Council PTA, and LCAP. I have had the pleasure to go to every school this year and have personally taught SEL lessons in over 80 classrooms, and each classroom is a different experience, and each time we complete a lesson, I learn something new from the amazing students in FSD.
PBIS, or Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports, has seen exponential growth over the course of the 2021-2022 school year. FSD currently has the most platinum schools in California with 12. Our sites are provided support through coaching and professional development. I've currently provided over 170 coaching sessions to our sites this year, all while working a 65% contract. Coaching sessions are data-driven and include the use of site behavior data and the SRSSIE screener to address student needs. I've also provided professional development support to all sites in the form of direct training or slide decks created for teams to present. Jackie Gallardo Hoffmaster, I and our team have also worked extensively with the Nicholas PBIS team this year to rebuild their systems and train staff. It's been such a joy to witness the hard work of the team there and the amazing results. In addition, we're the only known district in Orange County with PBIS on our buses. We have continued to grow this work by providing 5 professional development trainings to our bus drivers. Students continue to use the PBIS bus matrix and earn bus bucks for appropriate behavior that they can then redeem at their school site. We've built a wonderful partnership with transportation through this work. Furthermore, I also partnered with ACES this year to extend our work into our after-school programs, providing training to our ACES staff. We're currently in what we lovingly call recognition season, as I work with all sites on their PBIS recognition applications. And we have a very exciting outcome this year. For the first time ever, all of our sites are applying for either gold or platinum level recognition. We're very excited to continue to grow this work in FSD.
I
feel like I'm a little shorter, so I'm going to adjust the microphone like Tracy over here. Okay. All right. Okay. So as in having a lead counselor position this year, we've been able to focus and streamline all of our team building and collaboration with our district-wide school counselors. We have a total of 6 school counselors that have their master's degree. They hold their pupil personnel services credential, and we've been able to work together monthly to work on our school counseling programs, to align with state best standards, to accommodate the 3 domains that we service, which is academic planning, social emotional development, and college and career. We've been able to align and talk about what are things going on at our school so that we can support all our students through a whole child lens. We've been advocating for individual and systematic changes at our sites and recognizing that students have a lot of needs this year and returning back from an almost 2-year pandemic. Our counselors provide guidance curriculum and individual student planning to make sure they're wrapped around with those services. We're looking at those different barriers in the learning environment to help them reach success. We're able to provide response services to students that are in crisis, to provide crisis counseling, intervention, develop safety plans with all the stakeholders, administration, teachers, parents, caregivers, so we can make sure our children and our students are feeling physically safe and their social, emotional, and mental health needs are being addressed. This year, we are so excited to partner with the Orange County Department of Education to launch our Care Club at Nicholas Junior High, which is a mental health student advocacy program, which allowed all of our students, which you'll see in the green shirt over here, to advocate, to do outreach projects with our staff, our students, and our parents to talk about mental health awareness, the stigma around it, and also discuss what are our site-based supports and district supports to help our students seek out those caring adults when they're in state of crisis or need help. And we've been able to provide professional development at all of our sites to make sure we're talking about how our students are coming to us when they're experiencing loss or trauma or grief or just relationship building concerns, and really helping our students to give them the attitude, skills, and awareness so they understand themselves, they understand others, but they're able to work with one another to help them to provide that foundation so they have that awareness of self to make responsible decisions. We continue to support our programs with PBIS, social emotional learning, restorative practices, and we look forward to our continued momentum and growth to support our students.
Sorry. The Student Success Mentor position was a new addition to the junior highs this year. In serving as the Student Success Mentor at Ladera Vista Junior High, I've been able to reach a large population of our student community through restorative practices and targeted PBIS interventions. On a daily basis, I'm running whole class, conflict management, or friendship building restorative circles, which has really helped the students at LV learn to problem solve in a positive way. In working in coordination with our site counselor, Michael Klein, we've placed 88 7th and 8th grade students at Ladera Vista in mentoring programs, which includes mentors such as myself, our counselor, student success liaisons, and our classroom teachers. In addition to student mentoring, I've coordinated the implementation of Second Step at Ladera Vista and helped to support our classroom teachers teach over 350 SEL lessons. More recently, I've been out to all of our feeder elementary schools, helping with the transition of 6th graders into the 7th grade, collaborating with the 6th grade classroom teachers during their PLCs to ensure that any behavior and SEL supports that students currently receive or may need to receive in junior high continue on when the students come to the 7th grade.
In our work around social emotional learning, we thrive for transparency and open communication. This year, we have presented on various SEL topics at our Champions for Children's Conference, DLACs, ELACs, Council PTA, LCAP, and other stakeholder groups. The questions, feedback, and input have been invaluable. We also work with a variety of community partners. For example, tonight in the consent agenda, you approved our ongoing partnership with OC GRIP, with the OC GRIP program, which includes a Waymakers case manager who counsels, supports, and educates students and their families. We are very grateful to our school board for supporting partnerships with organizations such as OC GRIP.
Thank you so much. This concludes our presentation. There is one more thing, though. Often people will see us in our shirts and say, gosh, I would really like a shirt like that. So we have a special gift for our Board of Trustees and for our executive cabinet, just to thank you so much for supporting this work and for helping our bamboo project to grow. And we have a team with us today, and we tonight, and we welcome any questions you might like to ask of us.
Any questions?
Thank you.
I have-
Your presentation was very clarifying and really helpful. Your story of the bamboo was awesome. Never heard that before, but I did know it grew rapidly. I guess I didn't know it is in its infancy. And it's so heartwarming to see the compassion and caring that you all are putting out there, and it's contagious in our schools, and that's what makes it so wonderful. I especially loved hearing the cooperation between the feeder schools and the junior high, because that's the horrible place that students can get lost and the worst place for them to get lost. So thank you for your efforts. I know each of you are making a difference in your own way, both for staff and parents and students, and just keep doing it.
Oh, I have a few comments. All of you are so passionate, and I know that each one of you have touched at least 10 people, and those people have touched another 10 people, and it's amazing what's going to happen with the spread of this, kind of like a bamboo spreads. And Helene, you have such wonderful stories. In my living room, I have a kintsugi pot, because I remember that story, and I will keep this next to it and remember that story. You do such a great job of connection with learning.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate that. Thank you, Jenny.
No, yeah. Presentation was awesome. It answered all the questions that I was writing down, and then I had to cross them off because like I was already kind of thinking ahead, but of course, you guys answered them all. I think at this time and moment of every child's life is so challenging, and going through a tremendous social and emotional, you know me, with the two kids, just continue doing the amazing work that you guys are doing, because it's showing both, just not in this presentation, but in like the joy visiting the schools and seeing like the kids just, you know, they're having rough days, but we know we have a team that surrounds them and embraces them to continue moving forward. So just wanted to share that with you, but yeah, just right here.
Thank you. And that's what it's all about, the heart, right?
I ditto that, and I'm going to let you cry instead of me today. Everything that you guys are doing is spot on. I applaud you for all of your efforts. I know that this has been something that our board has been very focused on for a long time, understanding that students everywhere are hurting, families everywhere are hurting, and it's going to take us a long time to get out of where we're at. But continuing on with that, we can't educate students if they're not healthy, if their minds are not there, if their hearts are not there. So what you're doing is making it a true difference. And as you're saying it, you might not see it today, but it's making a difference. I'm really interested in the Care Club that is just at Nicholas.
Yes, it was a grant opportunity
Mhm.
that the Orange County Department of Ed offers to a couple junior high and high schools every year through a You Matter California Mental Health grant. And so we were able to write for one of our schools, and thankfully we were awarded for Nicholas. And so the funding provides a stipend for the partnership for the school to get swag, to give stress balls, the green t-shirts, and we were able to partner it with our rebranding of our PBIS program to really encourage a culture of caring and respect amongst one another and have students take the reign. And they've had mental health trainings. We're going to be having our mental health outreach each the second week of May. You're all invited to come. At Nicholas, we'll have different lunchtime opportunities for students to teach healthy coping skills. So it's something that has been really great this year to come to fruition, and we're hoping to perhaps maybe model that with our other junior highs and K-8s to provide that peer-to-peer leadership and just kind of that awareness and safety of resources and supports available. So I'm happy to share more with you if you like.
Perfect. Yes, thank you. And I think that I was looking for that answer because as we're looking at our LCAP and as we're looking at our plan and as we're trying to figure out what are the things that are important to us, I'm hoping that you guys are sharing that, things that are working for our children. We have to do something. We have to do more. And I know junior high is such a tough time for our kids, for everybody. More so now than ever before, and it's always been tough. So sharing that information, I'm hoping, with the rest of the committee and really taking a look at what we need to be doing to help all of our students, especially in those middle grades, the junior high grades. So again, thank you for all that you guys have done. Anything else?
Just, when wanting to do something for our students and talking amongst ourselves, mental health, it's important. You've brought it to life. And hopefully the students are enjoying it as well, because it looks like you're having a wonderful time. And I know that the positive impact is out there. I was in a peer assistance leadership program when I was at Nicholas, and this just seems like there's so much more buy-in from all of you, and anything that the board can do in addition to help serve your purpose. We're ready. Thank you.
One other thing I want to add is that when you talk with people in the community and you talk about social emotional learning, people don't have the slightest idea what we're talking about. So I think that a task that we have is to present to the community and present to parents on what a lesson looks like. And I don't know if we have that on our website or what. But just presenting, this is what a lesson would look like in kindergarten. This is what a lesson looks like in first grade. And it's not big, but it's something, because I think there is a disconnect when you're talking to community and parents and, what is all this SEL stuff, and they think it's just counseling. They think it's just, providing a service to somebody who needs it. But really honing in on what this means and how we can bring that into our classroom so that, it helps our children build that foundation to be strong. So that's one thing out there that, maybe be mindful of, because I'm hearing a lot of that and got a few ideas on how we can do that. But it's really, it's interesting to hear. So thank you.
Thank you. We love that. We've gone out and done some lessons with PTAs and different groups and even our whole management team. I love that idea of putting that on the website. And we have so many goals for next year and so many aspirations. This is just the beginning. And we're looking forward to coming back to you next year and showing you how far we've come from this moment in time. And we are just beyond grateful for your support and your encouragement and your kind words, and for filling our buckets and helping our bamboo to grow. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you.
Ms. Youngman, perhaps you can help get that message out. Thank you.
I just want you to know that I was a school social worker 35 years ago. When we moved out here, there were none. And so I worked very hard, and that's one reason why I do this, is to let people know what's going on in schools and how possibly to improve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's so good.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
And one little plug, we are on
and there's
Twitter.
more.
We tweet all the time. We have the tweet. Oh my gosh, she's crazy for it. But we have tweet of the week. We are on Twitter all the time. So please, our hashtag is FSDcell, SEL. So please, if you follow us on Twitter, it's magical. So please come on Twitter. So that's my tweet for Twitter.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, we're winding down to the end now, and we're at board member request for any future items. I think we have so many items that are coming up. I'm not sure.
We have a pretty full agenda here coming up. LCAP is just one of the many things. And so I'd say for the next 2 board meetings, if you can hold off on an item, that would be great. We also just, where's Rob? Rob reminded me, what about the budget too? So he was like, yeah, so some of these things are coming. Just a big shout out to, I wanted to say that the whole entire SEL team, the work they've done, an area where they've put a lot of energy and time, and you've really seen the difference is at Nicholas. And they work with the teachers, and we're really proud of the teachers. And we're also really proud of this team. They have an ambassadors club that they've done. They now have like softball that happens during lunch. They have all kinds of supports that are there. So we really appreciate the work. And you can see it really visible. For those of us who were there at the beginning of the year and now have come back, it's like, it's a whole different place. And so, and we've seen it also starting to grow at our other junior highs as well. So just, it's fun to see this like massive transformation.
Thank you. Okay. I didn't want to shut anyone down, but if you have something, just make sure you tell us. I mean, don't keep it. I'm sorry. You are free to ask for anything. No? Okay. All right. On that note, we'll adjourn at 8:52. Thank you.